released in January and it got pushed to March. So stay tuned for that, you guys. It's going to be smack dab in the middle when all of these players are playing, and I'm sure that it will definitely stir the pot. I'm kind of mad that it's not being released earlier than that, but anyway, this is the roster for those games. We have Aaliyah Boston, Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, Caitlin Clark, Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Dearica Hamby, Ryan Howard, Kiki Riafen, Kelsey Plum, Angel Reese, and Jackie.
That roster announcement dropped while most people were focused on NBA All-Star Weekend. And the reaction was immediate, because Team USA just released their 2026 World Cup qualifying roster, and 3 names are conspicuously absent: Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu, the 3 players who dominated at the Paris Olympics just 6 months ago. So before the conspiracy theories start flying, we need to understand what's actually happening here.
It's because it's World Cup. Not every player, not all of the top tier players play in every world event. I can imagine that Asia will just not participate in World Cup. She doesn't have to. She probably will only participate when another Summer Olympics rolls around, like in Los Angeles next time. The first thing that stood out to me about this roster is it's really guard heavy. I think the only post players that we have are Aaliyah Boston, Dearica Hamby, Kiki Riafen, and Angel Reese. Otherwise, the roster is relatively small, but I do think it's a good roster. It's full of young players, and I think that is really exciting.
This is the critical distinction everyone's missing. World Cup qualifying games happen March 11th through 17th in Puerto Rico. 5 games in 7 days against Senegal, Puerto Rico, Italy, New Zealand, and Spain. And here's what matters: this isn't the Olympics. Elite players like Aja Wilson don't play in every international tournament. They pick and choose. Wilson will be 29 when the Los Angeles Olympics roll around in 2028. She's protecting her body, managing her career strategically. This is standard practice for veteran stars. But look at who did accept the invitation. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, the 3 biggest names in women's basketball right now. This roster is deliberately youth-focused, and that tells us something about USA Basketball's long-term strategy.
On the show, I loved her interview. I love Kara Lawson. I've been watching her. Well, I was a fan of her when she played in college at Tennessee, and so I've always loved Kara. And I think that she is a great coach and will be great for this role. But Natalie Nakase, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White will also serve as assistant coaches, and Jose Fernandez, Tia Jackson are stepping in as the scout coaches. So you have some of the top coaches in the WNBA who are acting as assistant for Kara Lawson. It will definitely be super interesting to see the kind of lineup.
Kara Lawson from Duke is head coach. She played at Tennessee, won a national championship, and she's bringing a specific philosophy to this team. Her assistant coaches are Nate Tibbetts, Natalie Nakase, and Stephanie White. 3 of the sharpest minds in professional basketball, and that coaching staff is going to have some fascinating decisions to make. Because this roster is guard-heavy by design. You've got Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young all competing for backcourt minutes. The front court is thin. Aaliyah Boston, Dearica Hamby, Kiki Rice, and Angel Reese. Only 4 players who can legitimately play the post. That's intentional. USA Basketball is betting on speed, shooting, and versatility.
That they put together, because obviously I think the best lineups would be the younger players. Caitlin should be starting at 1, Paige should be starting at 2, Aaliyah Boston should be starting at center. Honestly, I would put Angel Reese at 4, and then in that 3 spot, I don't know, it depends if you want to go big or you want to go small with your lineup. You could put Ryan Howard in there, you could put Kalia Copper probably, maybe Kalia Copper at 3. I personally would go with a younger lineup. It will be very interesting to see the lineups that
The starting lineup writes itself if you're prioritizing the future. Caitlin Clark at point guard, Paige Beckers at shooting guard, Kalia Copper at small forward for her two-way ability, Angel Reese at power forward, Aaliyah Boston at center. That's your core, young, athletic, and built for the international game where spacing and pace matter more than size. But here's where it gets complicated. Chelsea Gray is a 2-time WNBA champion and finals MVP. She's 32 years old, and she's not going to accept coming off the bench quietly. Kelsey Plum is coming off an Olympic gold medal performance. These veterans have earned their minutes. So Carol Lawson is walking into a situation where the politics of playing time could overshadow the actual basketball. In that graphic USA Basketball released, Ryan Howard, Chelsea Gray, and Aaliyah Boston front and center. Not Caitlin Clark, not Paige Buckers, not Angel Reese. The three players who would generate 10 times the social media engagement. That decision tells you everything about how USA Basketball still views marketing versus performance.
We can talk about this CBA stuff. We don't really have any real updates. I'm just gonna start there. Nothing is confirmed. We don't truly know anything new. All we have is some quotes from some players. The last time I updated you guys, I told you that the WNBA did return to the players and counter their proposal. And we really haven't heard anything substantial. Like, we don't know if the players came back, if they're doing a counter proposal. Like, we just don't know. And at this point, I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I just wanna see what happens. But there was an article that came out where a reporter...
March is going to be fascinating for multiple reasons. These World Cup qualifiers happen right when Rachel's Caitlin Clark debate video releases. One Caitlin Clark fan versus 10 critics, filmed months ago, finally dropping right as Clark suits up for Team USA. The timing couldn't be more perfect for engagement and more awkward for everyone involved. But there's a bigger subplot developing. This is Caitlin Clark's first official Team USA appearance since the Olympic snub. She was the biggest story in basketball last summer, breaking attendance records, delivering historic ratings, and she watched the Paris Olympics from home. Now she's getting her chance, and the pressure is immense.
Leaf blowing for me, and I'm gonna give them some cash after I finish filming this episode. Anyway, so they went and interviewed some of the players who were at Athletes Unlimited, and I just want to read to you guys some of these quotes. You might have already seen them. One anonymous player said, "I think we're gonna have a season. I don't know if it'll be the whole season." Another player said, "I feel like we're asking for a lot. I know we deserve it, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're kind of getting greedy. We're doing a lot of asking. I feel like we need to do a lot of doing." So that was kind of one of the answers that stood out, because we haven't heard a player yet come out publicly and say, like, we're being greedy, we need to sign this deal. Another player said, "I'm going to lean more towards the positive side, so I'm going to say an 8, because I know the amazing people that we have to support us, the women in the negotiating chairs." Somebody said full W season ? I feel pretty confident. Full ? I feel like a 9. And so the question...
While that roster announcement was generating headlines, the CBA negotiations continued in their usual pattern. Lots of talk, very little substance. The WNBA submitted a counter-proposal to the players weeks ago. And since then, radio silence on the specifics. No leaked details, no concrete numbers, just carefully worded statements from players trying to sound optimistic while preparing for the worst. Breanna Stewart gave the most revealing quote. She said the owners are finally really acknowledging and being receptive to player demands. That phrasing matters. Finally, after months of negotiations, that's not encouraging. That's a player lowering expectations in real time. Then she added this, "Now that we're part of the revenue sharing model, you miss games, it's just less money." Translation, the players are starting to understand the financial reality. If they hold out, they're not just losing salary, they're losing their percentage of revenue. The leverage they thought they had is evaporating. An anonymous player at Athletes Unlimited said it even more bluntly. "I feel like we're asking for a lot. I know we deserve it, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're getting greedy." That's the first time we've heard a player publicly question the negotiating strategy, and it won't be the last.
Sorry, I didn't even tell you the question. It said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that there will be a full WNBA season? And the average score was a 6.1. And the most common answer was a 5. So I've kind of been on that side as well. Like, I've been telling you guys, I think at this point in time, we're not getting a full season. I think it's going to be stalled a little bit. It is already the second week of February. They're not going to get anything done this week. It's Friday. But Breanna Stewart also said this. She said, "I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like the owners are finally really acknowledging and being receptive of what we want, the players as well. We all had to kind of put our business hats on and get into that mindset. I'm hoping we can get this done quickly so we're not late on the season start." That's the thing I've been telling them, is now that we're a part of the revenue sharing model, you miss games, it's just less money. That's not to say that we should submit and just say yes to any proposal that we don't like, but this is a business now, and this is how businesses go. I mean, I don't know. I've read to you guys a million quotes. Like, this means nothing. It actually means
Athletes Unlimited surveyed players about their confidence level for a full WNBA season. The question was simple: on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? The average score was 6.1. The most common answer was 5. That's a coin flip. Players are genuinely uncertain if they'll be playing basketball in May. One player said, "I think we're going to have a season. I don't know if it'll be the whole season." Another gave an 8, citing confidence in the women leading negotiations. But the overall sentiment is clear: nobody knows what's happening. The WNBA and the Players Association are locked in a stalemate, and neither side is blinking. It's February 7th right now. Training camps are supposed to start in late April. Free agency should be opening soon. The draft is in April, and there's no CBA. Every day that passes makes a full 40-game season less likely. The players wanted 50-70-50 revenue sharing, guaranteed contracts, and elimination of the salary cap. The league countered with something less. How much less? We don't know. Because neither side is talking publicly about specifics. Here's what we do know. The players have more leverage than ever before because of revenue growth. But the owners have leverage too, because many players can't afford to sit out an entire season. International contracts don't pay what the WNBA does anymore. Athletes Unlimited is a nice showcase, but it's not a career. The players need the WNBA more than they want to admit. So let's connect these two stories because they're more related than they appear. Team USA announces a youth-focused roster for World Cup qualifying. The CBA negotiations stall with no resolution in sight. And both situations reveal the same underlying tension. The WNBA is changing faster than its infrastructure can handle. Caitlin Clark's first year generated unprecedented attention. Attendance up 48%. Ratings tripled. Charter flights became standard. Suddenly players saw what the league could become if marketed correctly. And they want their share now. Not in 5 years. Not after the next TV deal. Now. But USA Basketball is still operating like it's 2015. Putting veterans on promotional graphics instead of the stars who actually drive interest. Making roster decisions based on past performance instead of future potential. They're not adapting fast enough. The CBA impasse reflects the same problem. Players see the revenue growth and want immediate compensation. Owners see one successful season and want to ensure sustainability before committing to massive salary increases. Both sides are right. Both sides are also stubborn. Breanna Stewart's comment about revenue sharing is the key. She said missing games means less money for players now. That's the reality of the new model. If there's no season, there's no revenue to share. The players are negotiating themselves into a corner where their best leverage is also their biggest risk. Think about the position this puts Caitlin Clark in specifically. She's about to represent Team USA in World Cup qualifying while her WNBA future is uncertain. She's the biggest draw in women's basketball and she might not have a league to play in this summer. The absurdity is staggering. And here's what makes it worse. The longer this drags out, the more casual fans tune out. The WNBA spent all of 2024 building momentum, record ratings, sold-out arenas, mainstream media coverage. And now they're risking all of it because players and owners can't agree on how to split a pie that's still baking. The World Cup qualifying roster shows what's possible when you embrace youth and star power. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers on the same team generates instant interest. Angel Reese adds another dimension. This is appointment viewing. People will watch these games specifically because of who's playing. But if the WNBA season doesn't happen, all that momentum dies. Casual fans move on. Sponsors get nervous. And the league that was supposed to break through in 2025 instead becomes a cautionary tale about labor disputes killing growth. Carol Lawson and her coaching staff have the easier job. Put the best players on the court, win some games, qualify for World Cup. Simple. The WNBA and Players Association have the harder job: figure out how to split record revenue without destroying the league in the process. Right now it's February 7th. We're 8 weeks from World Cup qualifying. We're roughly 11 weeks from when WNBA training camps should start, and we have no CBA, no clarity, and no indication either side is close to a deal. Breanna Stewart said she's feeling better about negotiations, but feeling better isn't the same as feeling confident. It's not the same as having a deal. It's just managing expectations while hoping for the best. The anonymous player who called the demands greedy is probably closer to the truth. The players want everything immediately. The owners want to protect their investment, and somewhere in the middle is a deal that works for everyone. But neither side seems willing to compromise enough to find it. So here's the question we should be asking. Was the 2024 season's success a beginning or a peak? If the WNBA and players can figure this out, 2025 could be even bigger. Caitlin Clark's second season, Paige Bueckers joining the league, continued growth in attendance and ratings. That's the best case scenario. But if they can't, if we get a shortened season or no season at all, then 2024 becomes the year the WNBA almost made it. The year everything was aligned perfectly, and they still couldn't get out of their own way. Team USA will play those World Cup qualifying games in March. Caitlin Clark will finally wear the jersey she should have worn in Paris. Paige Bueckers will show why she's the projected #1 pick. Angel Reese will prove she belongs on this stage, and all of it will happen while the league they're supposed to play in remains in limbo. The contrast is jarring. USA Basketball figured out how to build a roster that maximizes star power and youth. The WNBA can't figure out how to pay its players without threatening the season. One organization is looking forward, the other is stuck in the past. So which version of the WNBA are we getting? The one that embraces its stars and capitalizes on momentum, or the one that lets labor disputes destroy everything it built? We'll find out soon, because at some point running out of time becomes the same as running out of options. Let me know in the comments, do you think we're getting a full WNBA season? And if we don't, who's more to blame? The players for asking too much or the owners for not offering enough? Because this isn't a both sides issue anymore. One side is going to have to blink, and whoever does will determine whether 2025 is the year the WNBA broke through or broke down.